No name card, it's Mike Petri, just going out number 9.
Okay, guys, we have Head Coach Mike Tolkin, Captain Todd Clever, and scrum half Mike Petri. Coach, if you could start, tell us a little bit about how today went.
It didn't go too well in the first half, I'll tell you that. We were a little slow, we were stuck in our end, we didn't take advantage of our chances, our opportunities when we had them, and we found ourselves down 2 men. So the first half was really about hanging on, keeping our composure a bit. And the second half was really about sticking to our game and not trying to do everything at once. 40 minutes is a long time, and we just needed to do it one score at a time. And I thought the guys showed tremendous poise on the field, great leadership, especially by these two fellas here. And we chipped away, and then eventually the floodgates opened. So great composure by the team.
Todd, why don't you walk us through the first 20 minutes versus the last 20 minutes?
I felt pretty good for the first 17 minutes until I took a good shot. But the bounce of the ball and the calls and just everything like what Tolk's touched on was going uphill. A couple guys down and put ourselves under a lot of pressure. But we didn't panic though. We know. We knew we were going to break them. We were confident with it, but it took longer than expected. But the leadership across the board on the team really brought it through for us.
Mike, how things look from the number 9 spot? You running the offense pretty well. You picked and chose your spots, and how things look from the number 9 spot.
Yeah, it's definitely been a tough two-game series. Uruguay's played very well, so credit to them. Defensively, they put us under a lot of pressure. They made the breakdowns a real contest each and every time. But like Coach Tolkin said, we knew that we could just grind it out, and if we stuck to our systems, that eventually we'd wear them down. And we had the confidence to do that, and that permeated from Todd from the top and came down to the rest of the boys. And credit to our team, the guys were outstanding. Their attitude, their energy, enthusiasm was amazing.
Coach, what were some of the adjustments? At halftime going in, it's we're down a little bit, but we're coming back with them under a yellow card, and what were the thoughts inside the shed at the break?
The biggest thing was mental. We did a lot of things to get into positions to score, and so we knew we would be there. We knew we could have ball. The stats, the rucks, the passes we made were so much in our favor, and we knew we'd have that again as they began to tire. But we just made adjustments, especially inside their 22. We were playing out of our end pretty well, kicking, kick chase, keeping the ball in their end. In their 22, that's where we made the difference. We were keeping it real tight, not intentionally in the first half, but we were really consolidating with a lot of space out wide. In the second half, we made, we moved the ball a little wider from the rucks, changed the point of attack, and used some of that space that we had.
Open it up to questions.
Coach, their coach was saying he thought too you guys with better depth, that they definitely got tired. Did you notice that? You
I did.
Wore them down and took advantage of that.
Yeah, they started to sub early, so I would think that would be a little bit of an alarm for their coach, for Pablo. And when you start doing that, we play physical. We have some size to us, and certainly that was part of our agenda is make them tackle us. And they did that, and anyone's going to wear down. And when you start to go into the depth of Uruguay, we knew that we had some good advantages going our way.
Todd, with the 2 yellow cards, and then you've got that defending scrum, you opted first of all to take yourself out when TT had to come on. Somebody had to go, and I wanted to know, what your thought was, whether it looked like you guys discussed it, who's got to go off, but also were you kind of hoping to work some time off the clock of those yellow cards, or just trying to survive that scrum?
Yeah, I don't think the time was what we were doing. Our backs were against the wall, and I had to get some medical treatment, and so I had to come off, and I didn't want to, but it was the right move, and our vice captain, Petri, and our forward leadership, I had confidence with them to take the roles and make the necessary calls to bring me in the back for the scrum, and hopefully we covered the short side on the wing. I didn't really see it that time this time.
Just to follow up, Mike, was there a concern with the scrum at halftime? So, is this going to be a series of penalties and yellow cards all the way through for the second half?
There was concern about the scrum and the yellows in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But at halftime, from our viewpoint, We thought that those latter scrums, we felt that we weren't doing anything to contribute to those penalties, but they saw it differently. So we were doing our part. We knew we'd be all right. We just, what we needed to do was have the game played in their end, and that never becomes an issue. So I thought we did that a lot better. You know, that's a strength of Uruguay. They get down there, they maul, they scrum, and they come alive down in that sense. So, yeah.
So, 2 games in a row, you guys have been down in the first half. Obviously, now that you guys have made it into qualifications, what do you guys think you need to be able to adjust on that to be able to be a little bit more efficient for the first half going into these tougher matchups?
I think we need to get more points, you know, in the times that we're in position to do so. A big stat for me post game is the percentage of being what we call the green zone inside the opponent's 22 and coming out with points, whether it's tries or penalties. And we need to get on the board when we're in those positions to do so. It can demoralize teams. It gives you momentum. It makes you feel good, and obviously, you know, it chips away at teams. So that's something that we want to do a little better.
Talk about your try there with the, was you're the one who had the little penalty and you just a little quick kick to yourself, and you noticed, I guess, where they sort of looked like you caught them off guard a bit, and that was a big goal, put y'all ahead, I guess, to stay from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a good moment, but you know, like I've been saying all along since the game ended, it really comes down to the guys up front that are doing the hard work, because you know that was when we started to notice that they were tiring down, you know, and our tight 5, our back row, Toddy, these boys were really getting up off the ground, getting around the corner, and really making the Uruguayan fellas work. And you know, so you could see it in their attitude, you could see it in how it was going, that the opportunity called for us to kind of inject some pace, and it just kind of worked out. But the credit really goes to those guys for setting me up for something like that.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you on that one. Start with heads up play. You know, Peaches is you know, one of the smartest guys on rugby IQ wise, and we put him under pressure, and Peaches saw the gap, and they were lazy getting back, and Peaches, it was all you.
Todd, last weekend it seemed like you guys couldn't really overcome the penalty troubles that you had and couldn't find your way into the game until late. What was the difference this week with 2 yellows and the scrum problems that you had, and then going out in the second half and, you know, scoring 3 or 4 tries?
Yeah, we just you know, didn't panic. I mean, we everything was under control. You know, it wasn't going our way, but no one panicked, and we knew what we needed to do, and finally things started clicking, and we were getting those positive break tackles, getting those bounces of balls, and you know, we caused our own luck, and you know, as you can see in all the try celebrations, how much it means to us, and how much we wanted it at the end of that game.
Mike, not to get ahead of ourselves, and we have a win to enjoy today, but how does the summer set up for us? As you know, now that we've qualified, we know the pool that we're in. We have 2 of our pool coming up this summer, and while we've got a great win to enjoy today, how does the summer set up for us in terms of our World Cup campaign?
Well, I mean, you can, you know, this qualifier, all your resources going into focusing on this, and you know, now it's 18 months away. You can start using some different players, some younger guys in, and build the depth of your squad. You know, whereas when you're qualifying for the World Cup, I mean, there's not too much maneuvering, experimenting, resting. So I think now we can start to expand the experience of our squad. You know, guys who've gotten back from Europe or long times of play, they need some rest. So, you know, we can give them the rest they need. So it just allows a little bit of flexibility and depth building.
Mike Petri, how much, what chance, I mean, obviously this is a big for you guys, and y'all have been able to qualify, I think, all but once in the World Cup. But obviously this is, you know, you get in there and those nations, the powerhouses, it's kind of a different level. I mean, what realistically do you think are your chances going into the World Cup next summer?
Well, if you talk about my serious approach to it, I think we're going to compete in every game, you know, as a team that can come out ahead. You know, the thing I always say is why not us? You know, we got out in the field, we competed in the World Cup last time. I think we have more depth now. I think we have a better level of games that we play. We're more prepared going in to play those games. And there's no reason that we're not going to be in there playing to get into the next round. and every one of our players feels that way as well. We're not backing down to anyone. We'll be realistic about our approaches to games and what we need to do to win, but we're not backing down to anyone. Our aim is to take one game at a time, and we want to get out of our group.
Last question.
Todd, 5 years ago, you were in Florida facing Uruguay in front of a few hundred fans. What do you have to say about this for you guys out here today?
Well, it was a great venue. I mean, you know, the crowd really got behind us, and it was an awesome atmosphere. They came out in the rain and the wind and stuff, and really got behind us and pumped us up. And you know, I know you know, the boys really appreciate, or really like doing the lap around it, and you know, meeting and taking photos and signing autographs and stuff. So you know, Atlanta's treated us well. You know, the hotel's been great. You know, get that hospitality out here, and you know, the fans are fantastic. So it's a step in the right direction. You know, we're getting good venues, and we're getting bigger crowds, and it's great to see rugby growing in America. A lot more boys and girls picking up rugby balls, and you know, and we're getting on major networks, and so it's things. The sky's the limit, but we have a long way to go. But we know that we've made some strides there.
Thanks, guys. We'll let you get back to the celebration. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.